All right, well, let's get into it, boys. So, hot takes for the 2020-21 NHL season, whenever it may start. January 1st has been the start date that has been tossed around in the rumor mill, and we've been seeing reports on Instagram from various accounts that we could have a decision this week between the league and the Players Association on sort of a timeline and schedule of, length of season and that sort of stuff. But we're still waiting for all those details. But nonetheless, we thought it'd be fun to go into some hot takes for the upcoming season in the new year, whenever it may start. So, Case, why don't we go to you first with your hot take for the upcoming NHL season?
Okay, I've got a part A, part B here because I have two teams that I want to talk about as a. I'll let you decide on how hot the takes are. The first one here, I mentioned these guys last year around this time, and I said that they were going to go deep, and I said expect to see them in the finals. And guess what, people? The Dallas Stars were in the Stanley Cup Finals this year, and I'm going to say it again that it's a team that you got to watch next year. I'm not going to suggest that they're going to be anywhere near the top of the table or even their division, but if they make the playoffs, they have a chance of going deep again. I have a couple notes on them here. First of all, their additions. They got Mark Pysyk. I always butcher his name, but he's a very solid bottom pairing defenseman coming from Florida, and I think that's a great pickup. They also got Honka, and next year probably making the team is Jason Robertson. This kid can absolutely fly. He's a big guy. He played 60 games in the AHL last year, had 25 goals and 22 assists. So I think he's just about ready to slide up and maybe take that Corey Perry or Janmark spot. Those are two of the subtractions. The other one being Roman Polak, who's replaced by Pysyk. And they got rid of that Martin Hansel contract. So that's a good sign for them. I think that why I say this is a hot take that they're going to do so well is people looked at their scoring last year and saw that they were like 28th in the league in goal scoring, but they're so strong defensively. And I think they've only gotten stronger defensively. I think that if some of their top guys can learn to decide to turn that scoring switch back on, you can recall back in the day, Dallas was never a big scoring team. And then Lindy Ruff came in and he kind of shook the team up, let them play with a little more speed and a little more pizzazz. And Jamie Benn won an Art Ross because of it. So I think that as they did last year, get a new coach, maybe these guys can be unleashed again and can score some goals and get them in the playoffs. And then they have the depth that reminds me of the Stanley Cup winning Washington Capitals, that type of depth down in the roster that I think can win a championship. They almost did it last year. And we saw some of those lesser names really make names of themselves last year, for lack of a better term. And they have the best tandem in the league, and maybe, one of the best tandems. I'm going to say top three there, and maybe even the best trio in the league with Jake Ottinger coming up at any time they need. I think that, I mentioned that youth might be a big deal next year with the condensed schedule. But I'm also going to say that experience and composure is going to be so big. You're getting a season like no other thrown at you. And then if there is going to be a bubble again, these guys know about that bubble. They were in it the longest last year. They experienced it. They know what to take of it. And I think we've heard about, some of the younger teams taking it as a vacation. We heard that quote about the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know how accurate that was, but I can believe it to be true. Some of the younger guys, they get to stay in the hotel. I remember being in the hotel with the boys when we were younger. That's the most fun time of the year. So I think these guys are taking it a little more serious, and they're a little more hungry. So that's my part A of my hot takes, and I want a little feedback from you guys. I'll start with you, Harp. What do you have to say about Dallas in this take?
I like Dallas, and you mentioned guys like Robertson and Ottinger, guys coming through their system. Let's not forget either about guys like Thomas Harley and Ty Dellandrea, who are coming through that organization as well. And looking at a couple of young players that they have to really take the next step this coming season, Denis Gurianov who was one of the best rookies quietly this past year in the NHL and looked great for them in the playoffs. Came through clutch for them. He's got that great big booming shot. And also Rupe Hintz. Like, this is a guy who scored 19 goals, 33 points last season, and just continues to get better and better. He could certainly be a guy that could put up, 45, 50 points for them. So they've got guys coming. They've got young players there that are going to continue to get better. And I like Dallas, man. I like that
two
hot
quick
take
points
for sure.
on that, Harp. You didn't even mention Heiskanen too in all that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
No,
my favorite young defenseman in the league is Heiskanen. And that decor is phenomenal with Esa Lindell and John Klingberg and big rig Jamie Alexiak. I love watching that guy play. So that is big. And then Ty Dellandrea, I think he's going to come in on fire. He got a little loan stint this off season, so I think that's going to do him wonders there. Chad, do you have anything you want to say before I move into the part B?
Yeah. Just before we get into part B here, dude, talk about a playoff team. Like, you look up in the dictionary playoff hockey team, and it's a picture of the Dallas Stars. Like, that team is such a, like, they're a good regular season team. And I don't mean like, oh, they're so good. I mean, like, they're good. They're not great. They're not bad. They're good. And then they get in the playoffs, and they're just built for it. Like, I like the point you made, the comparison to the Washington Capitals, the depth and all of that. Such a deep D-core, one of the best tandems in the league, if not the best. How high I am on Ben Bishop. And, yeah, I think the only thing that makes, watch out for Dallas a hot take is just the fact that they're underrated because they're not a high-scoring team in the regular season. So, if you get into the playoffs and you can have Tyler Seguin actually scoring some goals, for Christ's sakes, like, I don't know how many games he was held off the score sheet in the playoffs last year, but if you can have both him and Big Ben going at the same time, plus all their stud defensemen, like, or D-men, like, yeah, no problem. I have no problem with that take at all, and I only think it's hot because they're underrated. So let's get in.
One more reason why I want to say that it's a hot take is when you look at the West and you look at Colorado and you look at Vegas. Those are the two teams that I think everyone is expecting to win the Cup out of the West, and I still want to go with Dallas. One thing to bring up is that Dallas was like 6-1 against Colorado last year, so not a big deal. But yeah, I'm excited to watch them. You got guys that really want to win a cup, like Radulov and Joe Pavelski and guys like that. So yeah, it just gives me reminders of the Washington Capitals, who just couldn't get it done, and then finally took that one step with their depth and won the cup. So that's my first team. My second team is in the other direction, and this one hurts me. And again, sorry, I'm hogging the mic here, but I'm going to be talking in paragraphs.
That's
again.
okay, man.
I hope you can follow me here, but this one hurts me because I am the guy banging the drum on this team and leading the parade on this team's going to be a dynasty. And I say it like I've said it multiple times on this podcast.
Well, I know who it is.
I really think that the Vancouver Canucks are going to take a major step back before they take a step forward this year. It was not a good offseason for them, and frankly, I just don't think they have the team to get it done this year. Obviously, they're still young, and they have such a great future. Some guys in the pipeline as well, but the additions this year were Holtby and Schmidt. I think that Holtby and Thatcher Demko as a tandem is a step back from Markstrom and Demko as a tandem. Markstrom, to me, was the Vezina winning caliber goalie last year, and I think that Calgary is feeling pretty good about picking him up. That's going to be the guy to put the team on his shoulders. Some other subtractions for this team were Louis Domingue, Fantenberg, and Levo. None of those are big. But Chris Tanev, a guy who logged a lot of minutes for them on the back end, Tyler Toffoli, and Troy Stetcher, all guys that played some decent minutes for them. Tyler Toffoli, the guy that they expected to put the puck in the net, but he never really got there for them. Another point I have is the scoring for them. I don't know if it's going to come from the same spots this year. Tanner Pearson and JT Miller, they kind of had like a breakout season, but I have my question mark on there on if they're going to be able to play at that same level. I'm pretty sure Miller was getting Hart votes at the end of the year. he just stepped up his game. And even Brock Besser has taken such a major step back. He's got to find his rhythm again and get the puck at and in the net. So basically, they're just relying so heavily on Pedersen and Bo Horvat and Hughes. I don't know if Hughes is going to have that same. I don't know if he's going to have that same season next year either. You got guys like Alex Edler on the wrong side of age, and you finally got rid of you have a couple of shitty contracts in your bottom six. It's not a team that I'm thrilled about this year, but the future is bright in Vancouver. Yeah. I guess my last point is Tyler Myers, Jordy Ben, and Oli Ulevi in the back end. I'm not in love with that defense. What do you guys have to say about Vancouver? I'm saying they're not making the playoffs next year unless there's like 4 teams left out. I don't think they will.
Well, I guess something you also have to consider, though, too, Case, is that they're most likely, I would say 99%, if we do have a season, it will be an all-Canadian division. So do you still have that same take that they're not going to make the playoffs in an all-Canadian division?
Well, let's see. You got Edmonton. I think that they're going to make the cup.
You've got Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary, who's going to be a lot better.
Calgary, who picked up a lot of guys, and even Montreal is looking like a half decent team again. A lot of young guys and a couple major pickups. So
that will be it, right?
Yeah, Vancouver is they're on the bubble for sure. That all Canadian division might help them, but I'm not thrilled.
Yeah, dude, I tend to agree. Like, you look at Calgary's offseason, and it was just scooping guys from Vancouver, Markstrom and Tanev, the first two that come to mind. But, like, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely an exciting team, but you got to wonder about JT Miller. You've got to wonder if, they're going to miss the scoring of Toffoli. You've got to wonder if Hughes is going to have the same kind of season and guys like that. If Pedersen is going to be able to, sort of prove that he's a top 5, top 10 player in the league, like, because he's that good. But we'll see how he gets it done without committee. But yeah, that's sort of a hot take, and I haven't thought about the future of Vancouver much until you brought it up. But Harp, you have some thoughts on this?
Well, yeah, I mean, they lost a lot in the offseason, and, really the only 2 big names, like you mentioned, Case, being brought in are Holtby and Schmidt. And the question, I think the biggest question mark remains in net. Can Demko be ready to be that number 1? We saw flashes of brilliance from him in the regular season and in the playoffs, of course. And then can Braden Holtby get back to the old Braden Holtby that won his Washington Capitals a Stanley Cup in 2018? And with the forward group, can we see guys like Adam Gaudette and Jake Virtanen step up offensively? Is Tyler Myers going to be healthy on the back end and earn that $6 million a season that he's got? So yeah, I don't know. Too many question marks for me with Vancouver. I could still see them getting into the playoffs. Like you said, Case, they got such a bright future ahead, but yeah, I don't know. There are a lot of question marks there for sure.